Hi, I'm State Senator Vincent Hughes, and I'd like to talk to you about the tough road ahead of us with regards to the state budget. It has been a difficult year with the many challenges we have all had to work through. High unemployment rates, mortgage foreclosures, and so much more have made it hard for all of us to weather the deepest recession since the Great Depression. It is especially difficult on hardworking Pennsylvanians who are feeling the brunt of a recession that they had no hand in creating. They did not cause this economic crisis, and yet they are feeling its most severe impacts. Now, on Tuesday, March 8th, Governor Corbett delivered his budget address that unfortunately balances the budget on the backs of working families and children, while giving big business, big oil, and big tobacco a pass. There is no shared sacrifice, and it's just unfair. For example, in education, the governor's budget reverses the gains our schools have made over the past decade. Now, although our schools are not where we want them to be, Pennsylvania is the only state in the nation where test scores have gone up in every grade level and in every subject matter. However, Governor Corbett's budget proposal threatens that progress. His plan cuts $1.1 billion from basic education funding. These cuts will force widespread teacher layoffs and jeopardize education progress essential for our economic future. Furthermore, a $1.1 billion cut in education will result in dramatic local tax increases. $550 million of the $1.1 billion cut comes through the basic education subsidy and elimination of programs specifically targeted for struggling students. Additional education cuts eliminate school improvement grants, tutoring, science programs, after-school programs, smaller class size efforts, dual enrollment programs, and the reimbursement of charter schools. Now, these are effective programs that aid student performance. These investments during the past decade have transformed Pennsylvania into a national education leader. Classroom performance has improved and student proficiency has increased dramatically. The pace of gains by minority and low-income students has been particularly noteworthy, outpacing their classroom peers. We must not retreat on the record of success. This is a lose-lose budget for schools, teachers, parents, and taxpayers. The governor's cuts to basic education are only outdone by his cuts to higher education. The governor proposes to cut funding for higher education so dramatically that the cut brings the funding to the same level it was back in 1985, 26 years ago. His proposal cuts funding for Penn State, Temple University, Lincoln University, the University of Pittsburgh, along with Cheyney University, Westchester University, Indiana University of Pennsylvania, and the rest of the state system of higher education universities by 50%. The total cost is almost $750 million in cuts. The only way for these universities to make up for this huge loss of state funds is to raise tuition increases by 20 to 25%. It will also probably mean laying off a significant number of employees, shutting down important academic programs, and also possibly even closing campuses. Raising tuition to that level puts the dream of a college education out of reach for many hard-working families. It will also create an unacceptable drain on the quality of our future workforce. In the Department of Community and Economic Development, the governor has proposed eliminating the Homeowners Emergency Mortgage Assistance Program called HEMAP. This elimination would come at a time when foreclosures are happening all around us. In the Department of Public Welfare, the governor has eliminated the Human Services Development Fund, whereby costing county and local governments $23.5 million. This reduction will have a significant impact on all 67 counties, as it is used to provide a wide range of services at the county level. Hospitals will feel the impact too, as the governor has proposed eliminated targeting funding to acute care hospitals, trauma units, burn units, and neonatal and obstetric services. In the midst of a fragile economic recovery, this is a dangerous course. Now, the imbalance in the governor's budget proposal is represented in his extensive corporate tax breaks, while at the same time he reduces the services to people who are struggling just to get by. For example, just over a week ago, Governor Corbett told 42,000 people that there was no money in the budget for Adult Basic, Pennsylvania's health insurance program for low-income working families. He said that the Commonwealth just couldn't afford it. Now, as a result, most of these hardworking citizens woke up on March 1 with no health insurance. Yet, since the governor made that announcement, before the week was over, he found $200 million for business tax cuts that he implemented immediately. In his budget proposal, there are an additional $200 million in corporate tax cuts, and he continues to give thousands of businesses a huge tax break by allowing them to have a corporate address in a Delaware post office box, while they make millions doing business in Pennsylvania. And we're talking about businesses like Walmart and many other major retailers. Now, we recognize to improve help and support for small businesses and make them more competitive by directing support and services directly to those small businesses and not with major tax giveaways to corporate giants who are already evading paying their fair share of Pennsylvania taxes. And it shouldn't be done while you cut off health insurance to working people, funding for school children, and funding for young people to go to college, amongst so many others. And remember that our Marcellus Shale drillers are laughing all the way to the bank. For another year, under Governor Corbett's budget proposal, they get off again without having to pay the state or the local community any fees or assessments. Pennsylvania has one of the largest deposits of shale in the world. The natural gas produced from this drilling is so plentiful that it can heat millions of homes for years to come. The drilling is so profitable that many of the original drilling companies have been bought up by the oil industry. For example, Shell and BP now own significant portions of the drilling in Pennsylvania. Yet they pay no Pennsylvania taxes. They provide no mandated support for the protection of our environment, no mandated support for fixing up the roads and infrastructure that their huge trucks destroy, and no support for investments in new energy systems that will surely be necessary when the shale runs out. Yet the governor chooses to cut funding for schools and health care. Surely his priorities are misplaced. Oklahoma pays a drilling tax. Texas pays a drilling tax. Alaska pays a drilling tax. West Virginia pays a drilling tax. Everyone else pays a drilling tax except Pennsylvania. This is not right. Now, in the next few weeks, we will place this proposed spending plan under a public microscope. The good news is my colleagues and I will be reviewing this budget line by line for the next 3 weeks and encouraging significant changes. We will look for funding streams that will not be the responsibility of average taxpayers to have to bear the weight. I would encourage you to contact your senator or your representative or even the governor because time is very limited. If you want your voice heard, it needs to be now because Republican leadership hopes to have this budget completed by Memorial Day. Now, you have my promise to continue to work for a fair budget and fight for working families who are struggling to make ends meet. Thank you very much.